Hi, it's Nathan here, and today we're talking about the Management System Manual. So if you have a safety system, this will just be the WHS Management System Manual. If you have an integrated management system, it'll be the Integrated Management System Manual. Similarly with quality and environmental, it'll just be the Quality or the Environmental Management System Manual. So what they are is basically a document that outlines how the system is run. So it'll describe how all the components of the system integrate or work together to meet the requirements of the ISO standard. It's a management document. It's not like a HR or an employee handbook or an employee manual. It is primarily going to be used by your HSEQ people or the integrated management system manager, or if you're in a small company, the director or whoever sort of runs all the paperwork for the business. In terms of what a good manual should be, it'll cover all the requirements of the standards. We generally recommend that when you're writing it, you try to match the headings and the heading numbers to the headings of the standard. So for every heading of the standard, you'll have the exact same heading in your manual, and then you'll describe how you meet that standard. Because the alternative, and you see this all the time, is you just use your own sort of numbering. You just write your manual, give it whatever headings you think are relevant or whatever's convenient. And then when it comes time to match your manual up with the standard to try to go, okay, well, how do we meet these requirements of the standard? It's hard to go back and forth and work out where the requirements are met. So then companies will put in like a cross-reference table where you can say, okay, well, section 4.1 of the ISO standard, which is like context of the organization, we meet that in section 5 point whatever of our manual, and it's a mess. Try to match the headings and the titles of the standards to the headings of your manual. In terms of what the manual gets used for, it's funny because like in terms of ISO certification, it is the most important document really because it's the framework. It describes how you meet the requirements of the ISO standards. But then in a day-to-day sense, you will never, ever, ever look at it unless you're doing updates or you have like some questions about what you should be doing or how the system runs. Maybe you'll go to the manual. But other than that, it'll only really ever get pulled out for audit. I worked in ISO certified companies for years and years. Until finally I was probably in about 5 years before I was like, you know what, I'm going to pull this manual out and see what it says. And I opened it and it goes, oh, okay, yeah, well, we have some ants here. That's what it is. It just outlines how everything runs. Whereas in like an operational sense, you know, if you're an HSEQ person or a manager, a supervisor or a business owner and you have an incident report, you just fill out the incident report. If you want to run a safety meeting, you just get the safety meeting template and run the safety meeting. If you want to fill out the registers, you just go to the registers and fill them out. You're not going to the manual and going, oh, well, what are these registers? How do we use them? Because most of the elements of the system are fairly simple and you use them day to day. The manual, it's kind of like the manual for your car or your fridge. You know, when you go to drive your car, you generally don't pull out the manual every time and go like, hey, what is this big circle thing in front of me and what does it do? You kind of just know, well, that's the steering wheel. But if you get a warning light come on your car, that's when you're going to go, hey, where's that manual? What does this mean? So yeah, it is a very important document. Don't lose it. If you're running the system yourself or you're an HSEQ person, sure, read it, understand it, but it's not a document you're going to be looking at all the time. So yeah, hope that helps.